Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today we're going to be starting what's going to be a 4-part series for Quake on the PC. Now many of you guys have probably seen my Sega Saturn Let's Play of this game, or at least the first episode, because that's all I did. And you've probably seen many of my Doom Let's Plays, which I've uploaded a lot of on this channel. But what many of you guys might not actually know is that I actually religiously played the original PC Quake for a very, very long time back in the day when it was new, both single player and competitive multiplayer. It was one of the first PC games I really got addicted to and I got really, really good at, from both like a technical standpoint and just being able to complete the game on the hardest skill mode, etc., etc. Quake is one of those games that I still go back to probably at least once a year for a full playthrough, or a mostly full playthrough. Episode 4 gives me trouble, so a lot of times I'll just do episodes 1, 2, and 3 and then just call it a day and go back to playing Doom or something like that. But Quake is actually one of my favorite first-person shooters and one of my favorite video games of all time. So for all those platformers and shoot-em-ups and stuff like that you guys have seen me play, Quake is actually at the very top of my list. It's not a single-player experience that's for everybody, but as someone that played competitively for quite a long time, using the skills I learned from multiplayer and more advanced tricks and tactics has always made the single-player experience a lot more satisfying for me. And it's still very satisfying for me to just bolt through and blaze through as quickly as possible. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be a 4-part Let's Play series. I'm going to divide each episode into its own episode, or its own show, basically. So what we're going to do today is run through the first episode, and of course we're going to be doing this on Nightmare mode. Actually, first, you know what? I'm gonna check something first. I want to make sure that this is actually saving my progress. Okay. Because I was actually streaming this on Twitch not too long ago, and I beat like 2 episodes one night, went back the next night, and my progress was gone. So I just want to make sure that the progress is saving for sure before I go through this. So in Quake, this was actually really interesting. This was one of the only games I knew of that did this. And for the difficulty select in Quake, you start off at this, what's called, was it the Slipgate? I believe it's called the Slipgate. And each of these doors is a difficulty mode. So if you want to play on easy, you go through here. If you want to play on normal, you go through here. If you want to do hard mode, you have to make this jump. If you don't make the jump, you die and you have to start over. It's really cool. And then when you come in, when you want to select your episode, instead of going through a menu, you know, like you would in, say, Doom or Duke Nukem 3D or something like that, you actually walk into basically a teleporter, which takes you to your episode. Now, there's actually one more skill mode you can play, and it's called Nightmare. And to access Nightmare, you come down here, just make a nice clean drop from there right onto this platform, and then just walk around here. And this is actually the 4th episode right here. And here's our Nightmare skill setting right here. There's also this little secret here that says, the Well of Wishes awaits in the Crypt of Decay. That's basically, I think, Crypt of Decay, I forgot what level that was, but that might be indicating like there's a hidden stage or a hidden secret area on the Crypt of Decay, which is a specific level. So yeah, we go through this, and now we're back at our episode select, and we're basically on Nightmare mode now. So what we're going to do is just do each episode in order, and I'm going to save my progress after each episode, and I will be revisiting this and completing the full game for you guys. So yeah, we're playing Quake now. One big disclaimer is that we're not going to be playing this with the soundtrack to the game. I actually did a previous long play of this game probably about 4 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer. And it got a copyright claim because of in-game music, basically. So we're going to be doing this without the in-game soundtrack, unfortunately. And I hate doing that, but I really don't want to get a copyright claim on these Let's Plays either. So Quake's soundtrack actually is mostly ambience and sounds anyway. It's not really music per se. There's like maybe 2 tracks in the entire game that actually have some kind of like rhythm and musical elements to it. Most of the rest of the soundtrack is just ambience. So for those of you guys that aren't that familiar with Quake, it basically came out after Doom, or technically Doom 2 and Final Doom. I believe it was after Final Doom. And it's got a lot of elements from Doom, but in a way they've been changed, in a way they've been refined. For one, Quake, as you can see, it's a fully 3D polygonal environment. Pretty much everything in this game is 3 dimensions, except for your particle effects and so forth when you like hit enemies. But literally everything in this game is a polygon. Even like the little flames on the walls that we'll see later on, those are polygons. Every ammo box, every little thing is a polygon. And if you shoot this sort of like screen there, this platform will rise up. So let's do it again. And if you shoot this wall here, there's a secret, which gives you quad damage. What I want to actually do is save that, and I'll show you guys why in a little bit. So yeah, Quake was really revolutionary for the time. It was one of the first fully polygonal 3D engines where literally, again, everything was 3D. The enemies are 3D. Again, even like all your like lights and stuff like that, all your switches are 3D. Here's a little secret here. We can hit this target and it opens up this door for the double-barreled shotgun. And we've also got the nail gun right now. So we've already got 3 weapons starting off right now. But actually what I want to do is open this, which reveals our quad damage again. And what I want to do is just kind of bolt through this section really quickly. Quad damage does 4 times the damage for a limited period of time. And on a lot of levels in Quake, there's quad damage laid out in a way to where you can just seriously bolt through certain sections of the game. This right here gives you 100 health. And much like Doom, if you're already at 100 health, which is your maximum, that 100 health power-up will take you up to 200 health. Or if you're at like 50 health, it'll take you to 150. Now, there's also a couple other secrets we're gonna tackle. What I'm gonna try to do is show you guys most of the secrets on these episodes if I know them. Episodes 3 and 4, I don't know as many of the secrets, or at least I don't really know them anymore. But for episodes 1 and 2, I should be able to show you the majority of the secrets. So one of them right here is this biosuit, and you can actually jump down into the sort of like the swampy area, which would normally hurt you. The toxic liquid or whatever it is. And if you come down here, you're going to get what I believe is the yellow armor. Yep. And this is going to teleport you up here. Now, if you were playing this in multiplayer competitively, I believe there was an invincibility power up here. So if you happen to play this with friends on like a LAN or something like that, there is that. Some items are different depending on if you're playing in multiplayer or a single player. So you can shoot this door, and this is actually the exit, but there's also one more secret over here I want to show you. Which again, if you're playing multiplayer, it's pretty important, but that's basically it. So we're going to actually go back down, go to our exit. Oh, actually, I missed one more secret, so let's go check that out. It's up here. And for those of you guys not really familiar with the PC one, but if you've got access to, say, the Nintendo 64 version, in that version in particular, a lot of these secrets are the same. Although I think this secret was taken out of the N64 one. But you can actually jump on that platform up to here. And again, it's another 100 health power-up. And that's pretty much it. That's all the secrets for this level. And let's go ahead and exit. So, one of the things I've got activated in this game is actually mouse look. And I'm actually using Dark Places, which is, it's a source port of Quake, which allows me to have some other configurable tweaks and settings set. And it also improves the graphics of the game. And source ports for these old first-person shooters are very common. Doom has several source ports. I think Quake might even have multiples as well, but Dark Places is one of the most popular ones. But as you can see, the graphics are actually pretty nice and smooth. In the original Quake, on software settings, which was like the default renderer, you had a very pixelated look on all the textures. It was actually a look I really liked a lot. And the shadows were actually more accentuated in the software renderer. But Dark Places really smooths everything out. With the original Quake came out at a time where 3D acceleration cards were sort of a new thing. For those of you guys that weren't really around back then, we didn't always have 3D graphics accelerators. At least that's what we called them back then. Now it's just any GPU does 3D acceleration by default these days, pretty much. But back in the day, it was new, and a lot of 3D games like this would just have software renderers. So your entire environment would basically just be rendered by your CPU without really much help from your graphics processor. And by flipping this switch here, pushing that wall in, it reveals quad damage. And we're going to save that for the end of the stage. But with the original stock PC Quake, there was an add-on you could get called GL Quake, which would take advantage of 3D graphics accelerators at the time. And it would basically give you a look like this, where it would smooth out the textures, give you like glow effects on like the rockets and grenades and stuff like that. And so Dark Places is kind of like GL Quake, but it actually refines the graphics even farther than GL Quake. It allows you to put the resolutions up even higher. It's got extra graphical effects and so forth. And it's definitely the ideal way to play Quake. The animation also seems to be a bit better on Dark Places, whereas the animation on your characters was a little clunky and choppy, actually, in the original Quake, especially with the software renderer. So by shooting that little target right there, we got that armor. And if you come down here, actually, we're not going to do that yet. We're gonna come down here. Again, I am kind of trying to show you all the secrets and so forth, so I am actually taking this way slower than I normally would. For those of you guys that have seen me play this on stream, I typically just blaze right through Quake. It's how I like to play Quake. I like to play very aggressive, very fast. One of the great things about Quake is just you're so mobile in this game. Notice, look how fast I'm moving. It's one of the fastest first-person shooters, but the controls are so tight in this game too. It's just a very tight playing game. Just, so two secrets here. One, you can fall down here. In multiplayer, there's a super nail gun here. And then you can come down here, which reveals this secret. And I believe that's pretty much all the secrets so far. So we're going to go ahead and grab this quad damage. But we're going to switch over to our nail gun. Normally, I like to grab that quad damage when there's still all these enemies in here. But I kind of did this by, you know, in reverse order than what I normally do. So you have to flip this switch on the floor here. It reveals some fiends right here. You kill this guy, two more fiends appear. And you got to be careful with these guys. They will just tear you a new one. They can kill you almost instantly if they corner you or something like that. So there we go. We pretty much just like tore through everything. And that's the beauty of quad damage is it's 4 times the damage, basically. And you already do a decent amount of damage in this game. You know, your weapons are pretty powerful compared to, you know, the amount of health that enemies have. Now, it's not like Doom where you can just sort of like sit there and fire at enemies. In Quake, you really have to dodge in this game. You really got to have the footsies. You got to have a foot game with your opponents. Like the ogres with the chainsaws and grenades, you have to be constantly moving back and forth. Otherwise you'll get hit by their grenades. Same with the fiends, they just lunge right at you. And even though the enemies hit like tanks in this game, you also do a lot of damage as well. And you're a very versatile character in this game. So here's our grenade launcher, and there's going to be some zombies here. There's also going to be 2 more fiends. So what I was actually, one thing I did want to talk about in terms of the source port is it does allow me to enable free looking. And I don't know where the option is in particular. But there is an option here somewhere that allows me to basically free look. And I could enable a crosshair. Kind of like that. I actually don't like using crosshairs in the original Quake because I basically learned how to play it without crosshairs. So I actually play Quake the normal way, quote unquote. But yeah, in the original Quake, you actually, the only way to mouse look was by pressing a button. Now there might have been some kind of console command, but by default, if you wanted to enable mouse look, you had to, like, I would maybe map it to like the right mouse button or something like that. And, you know, that's fine and all, but it actually gets really tiring on your hands after a while, holding down like a mouse button for pretty much the entire level to mouse look. Now, unlike Doom, mouse look was always a thing in Quake. Now, in Doom source ports, they give you the option to mouse look, but mouse looking was never something you were able to do in Doom. Doom always had this auto-aim system, and Quake has the auto-aim system just like Doom as well. So basically, if I'm just sitting here and there's an enemy above me, the bullet goes automatically to the enemy. I don't have to actually look up at the enemy. And Quake still does that. But Quake also gives you more precision by actually allowing you to mouse aim in any direction, 360 degrees. There's going to be a secret down here. It's going to basically be partial invisibility. Now, what's really funny about this power-up is that if you're playing in multiplayer, your entire body is invisible except for your eyeballs. So if you look down at the heads-up display, and you can see the picture where it's basically a helmet and eyeballs, that's kind of what it looks like in multiplayer. You literally just see eyeballs. You don't even see the helmet. It's just the eyeballs. And it was really funny back in the day, playing this game in a multiplayer, to see like a set of eyeballs just flying right past you. You're like, hey, wait a second. And that would be your opponent that you're probably trying to kill. Or not kill if it was a co-op game. So this part you really want to be careful at. There's going to be a Shambler. And the Shambler is kind of like the equivalent of the Cyber Demon from Doom. Although he's not as threatening, he's a lot easier. But if you get right in front of him, he'll still kill you very, very quickly. But normally what you would do is you would run down and trigger him. He's kind of there behind that left column. You can sort of see this hand sticking out. We can actually trigger him by shooting near him. And the Shamblers are actually really easy to deal with if you're just dealing with them and not any other enemies. So basically you just get in their way. They try to zap you with this lightning. And there's going to be a second Shambler coming out. Let's try to kill this Skag. They're called Skags, I believe. Skags or Scrags. I don't remember. The little flying guys. So Shamblers you just deal with like this. You know, you try to attack them, they try to zap you with lightning, and you just move behind an object. They pretty much just home in on you. And if you're behind an object, very much... They're actually kind of like a mixture between like the Cyber Demon in Doom and the Archviles. Because the Archviles act in a very similar way where... in Doom 2, where they try to attack you, and as long as you move behind an object and you can't see them, and they can't see you, you don't get hurt. And it's kind of the same way with the Shamblers. Same way with the Shamblers. Shame her. Getting a little dyslexic with my speech trying to, you know, talk about Shamblers. Alright, so we grabbed the key down below, which was there, and we just come through here, and we're pretty much towards the end of the stage already. These stages aren't terribly long in the beginning. The first episode is probably going to be the shortest playthrough that we've got. And perhaps with the other episodes, we will progress through a little bit quicker. There's going to be a bunch of zombies down here as well, so you got to be careful here. For zombies, only grenades and rockets can take them out. Unless you've got quad damage. Now, standard like super shotgun or something like that, with quad damage, a lot of times will blow up a zombie as well. But without quad damage, you have to use grenades or rockets. Now, we haven't actually gotten the rocket launcher yet, but we will get that on the next level. For ogres, grenades typically kill them in 2 hits. So if you get 2 nice direct shots with grenades, you'll kill the ogres. A lot of enemies in this game take a very finite and specific amount of hits with certain weapons. So for instance, the zombies, they always die in 1 hit with a grenade or a rocket. Fiends, I think, take maybe 3 or 4. Let's test that theory. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4. And if they've taken a lot of damage and you get like a nice direct last hit, they'll actually explode into giblets, which is awesome, actually. Dark Places adds like all these blood splatters and stuff like that, which was not in GL Quake or the original software renderer Quake. So again, there's actually a whole lot of video options you can select with the Dark Places source port. You could turn VSync off, which I don't even think was an option. You've got the anisotropic filter. You can raise your texture quality. There's anti-aliasing you can add. We're actually running it at a fairly low resolution right now for recording purposes, so we get a relatively smooth recording session that's at least 30 frames a second without getting too choppy. So there's going to be some more ogres up top here, and again, they pretty much take 2 hits exactly. So 1, 2, he's dead. The reason I wanted to do that is because there's a secret here. You can shoot this door. And this is a little tricky to... I've got auto run on, so a lot of times I have a tendency of running off too far when I go through that teleporter. In the Nintendo 64 version of this game, if you shoot this wall right here, there's actually a secret which takes you to the secret stage. The secret stage is actually in a different spot in that version of the game. The secret stage is actually accessed on the next level in PC Quake. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my super nail gun, or not super nail gun, this is just the regular nail gun. We haven't gotten the super nail gun yet, but that'll be on the next level. There's going to be 2 fiends up here. Now what's actually interesting about this section is you don't actually have to take these guys out. And the reason I note that is that a Shambler is going to appear. Let's actually go down here, get some more health. Just like that. I'm actually not playing all that well. I've taken a lot of damage, surprisingly. So I'm going to try to get all my health back. I do want to show you everything that there is in these levels. So normally what I would do is I would just rush through that door to the exit. But I want to show you the Fiends and the Shambler. Alright, so if we kill this Fiend, a Shambler is going to appear, just like this. Now, if you're playing the N64 version of this game, what you want to do is just go through the exit immediately, if they allow you to. They allow you in the PC version. I don't actually have to fight these guys. I can just run through that exit. And I believe there's going to be a second Shambler as well. Apparently not. Okay. So yeah, in the N64 version, the reason you probably just want to exit is because these pillars aren't here. Now, why they made that design choice, I have no idea, because without pillars like this, there's no way to avoid the Shamblers. You're going to get hit, and you're probably going to die very, very quickly. The Fiends, not a big deal. They just lunge right at you, and you just have to strafe left or strafe right, and you will dodge them. It's pretty simple. Although they lunge really, really quickly, so you still have to be really careful. But yeah, on N64 Quake, they still use the Quake engine, and the levels are laid out pretty much the same. But there's like certain pillars that were chopped out, slightly less detailed scenery, most likely to keep the frame rate up for the most part. So N64 Quake is actually quite challenging in comparison at certain parts. So for those of you guys that are only on console, or maybe just don't play that many PC games, you might play N64 Quake, but not this Quake. If you do play Quake, I recommend playing, PC Quake if you can. But, so we got a biosuit. We're dealing with some water here. This will not hurt you. This is just regular water. It's going to be a little bit of a secret here. You get some rockets. Rockets also translate into grenades. Rockets and grenades. Rockets are used for both the grenade launcher and the rocket launcher. Here's the super nail gun, which is one of the absolute best weapons in the game. And this part's a little weird. You have to hold the jump key to get up. But this part, and I think it's just because of dark places, it sometimes doesn't want me to get up. Actually, what I want to do is try to save my super nail gun, because I'm going to need it later on in this level. There's going to be an ogre down here. He rises up, but you can actually kill him before he rises up. Bam. You're dead. There's going to be some knights right here. The knights are kind of like... You know, they look like knights, obviously. They've got swords and whatnot, but they're actually kind of like your pinky demons from Doom. They don't actually really do much. They just run at you and attack you. They have no projectiles or anything like that. So, I highly recommend trying to take the knights out with, say, just your shotgun, super shotgun, etc. Probably don't really want to waste rockets on them or anything like that. The skags up here, or scrags, I don't remember if they're scrags or skags, but we'll call them both in this playthrough. You probably want to use the nail guns on them. It's easiest to take them out with the nail guns, thanks to the auto-aim especially, and the fact that the nail guns just do fast damage, or make quick work of those guys. So there's actually going to be an ogre up here, which he wasn't there before, but he's since appeared since we've come into this area. So we take him out quickly with the super nail gun. Picking up this key makes more scrags appear. And what I want to do first is trigger these guys and then use the super nail gun on them. You can get wrecked very quickly here. The second you come up, the fiends just both lunge at you at the same time. And they'll follow you into the water as well. They're not really much of a threat underwater. But a lot of times what they'll do is just kind of sit right here. And you'll be trying to come up from the water and they'll just get you right away. Also, you might occasionally trigger some ogres up top. They'll be tossing grenades at you while you're trying to come up as well. And one strategy you can do if you're having problems with Quake is try to trigger some enemies and take them out from a distance with just your standard shotgun. So like here's an ogre up here. Ooh, there's 3. And probably not wise now because I triggered all 3. I only really wanted to trigger 1. Yeah, let's just skip that. But like there's a knight up here. He's running back and forth. Oh, well, I killed an ogre, so that's fine. There's only 2 now. Okay, 2 down. 1 more to go. So if you're having problems with enemies, like trying to snipe you from a distance, your regular shotgun's actually pretty good long range. It's weak, but it doesn't need to be super powerful, as long as you're constantly making your hits. It's not like the Doom shotgun where it's just like... You know, in Quake, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're constantly firing at a pretty constant rate. And we just killed the knight. So we basically took out all the enemies up top from down below. So if you're having problems with certain parts of this game, remember that you can take out enemies from a distance. Which that actually really comes in handy later on in the game. In particular on episode 2, I believe. If I wanted to, I could switch back to my shotgun and just take these guys out from a distance. It's slower and not as sexy, that's for sure. It's not like how I would normally play, where I would just bolt through the game with like the rocket launcher in hand. Like right here, there's gonna be some dudes, some ogres. I can use the grenade launcher up here. Just remember, it's 2 grenades per ogre, so... You know, in Quake, a lot of times you can play it with numbers in mind. So every time you attack, you go 1, 2, dead, basically. Once I flip all these switches, the Fiend is going to appear. Actually, not when I flip the switches. The Fiend appears when I try to access this staircase. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to the secret level. which I actually wasn't planning on doing when I was originally going to record this Let's Play, but we might as well. I'll show you the secret stage, which is called Ziggurat Vertigo, and it's a really cool level. But let's go back up here and make sure we've got all our ammunition and so forth, because we're going to need it on the next level. And we ended up just wasting ammo, but that's not a big deal. So coming up here actually takes you to the exit, but we're going to skip that. And what we want to do is actually come back down into the water. And if you're going to make a big jump like that, you want to land in water. If you land on the ground, you do get hurt. So you have to be careful about that. So the Ziggurat Vertigo is actually in here. Those two switches we flipped opens up this doorway, which takes us to our secret level. So what I'm going to do is, just in case, I'm going to do a quick save. And so this actually has very low gravity. It's really interesting. So what I'm going to do is grab this. This is invincibility. And then come through here. And since I'm invincible, I might as well just use my grenade launcher. There's going to be a rocket launcher right here. We can just jump straight up. Oops. Now, the rocket launcher is easily the best weapon in the game. It is just an awesome weapon. It's very, very effective. It's fast. It's got good blast damage. It doesn't hurt you too badly if you blast damage yourself, fortunately. It kills pretty much all small enemies in one hit. And again, just like the grenade launcher, 2 hits with the rocket launcher will take out ogres. And keep in mind that the ogres, they drop a backpack every time you kill them. And every backpack from an ogre gives you 2 grenades, or 2 rockets. And we blew him up into giblets. And we're going to go ahead and try to collect all the ammunition that we can. So we got another set of rockets right here. So we're up to 79. This is going to put us at 81. And 100 health. And that switch, I believe, lowers the gates down on the bottom floor. So this level is really weird to get used to because of the fact that the gravity is just the way it is. But what's really cool about the low gravity is things like the grenade launcher go all the way across the screen now. So even before you get the rocket launcher, you can actually aim the grenade launcher in a way like it's a rocket launcher. See? What I normally do is, like the ogre that's sitting there and falling in the beginning, I'll just shoot him with the grenade launcher from all the way across the screen. It's really satisfying to do that. So there's going to be some enemies here, above and on down below. Now, one thing you want to be careful of when you're trying to kill these guys with explosives is if you do too much damage to them, you turn them into giblets. You basically, you know, turn them into a million tiny little pieces. And that's cool and all, but the downside to it is that if they turn into giblets, you don't get their backpack. Their backpack explodes with them, basically. Which is a neat little, like, you know, a bit of attention to detail. So that was a shambler up there. There might be a second... No, not right here. There's another shambler up top. But there's also going to be another invincibility power-up, which we're not going to get yet. What I'm going to do is save that for when I go up to the next level. Let's grab these rockets. You can also see there's a door up there. That's a secret. It's got, I believe that's 100 health up there. And this is going to take us up there. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, screw it. We'll just get this right here. Pretty sure there's also quad damage here as well. Actually, when I streamed this on Twitch recently, I did not get to the Ziggurat Vertigo. I intentionally skipped it. I'm pretty sure quad damage is in there, but we're going to go ahead and take out this Shambler just as is. I mean, I'm invincible, so it's like, oh yeah, there's a second one. That's right. And because of the gravity, the Shamblers can actually, like, sort of juggle you, so you really want to be careful about that. But that's it. I think that's all the Shamblers in this level. We are going to have to go in here, though. So let's flip this switch first. And we're pretty much at the end of the level already. It's, again, a lot of the levels in Quake, they're not very long when you really know what you're doing. And as like I said at the very beginning of this video, I'm super familiar with Quake. So even though I'm not playing through it like grease the lightning right now, I know exactly where to go still, and so it's very easy to just get from point A to point B. There's also a secret right here. Not a whole lot, but it is a secret. Got some nails. And what I'm going to do is actually go back, get the 100% health I missed. Or 100 health. Just like that. And we've got max nails. We got pretty much max everything we need. We don't have max rockets, but that's fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and exit. Let's go all the way across the screen. I love the low gravity. It's so cool. It's definitely an interesting dynamic. So we missed another secret, apparently. I'm trying to think of where the other secret was that I missed, but yeah, not a big deal. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and save it again, just in case. There's actually some really cool things you can do in this level. One of the things that Quake brought to the table that you didn't have in, say, Doom, was the ability to boost yourself with explosives. So let me go ahead and get this 100% health here, and I'm going to demonstrate. So Quake is basically where rocket jumping became a thing. For those of you guys that have played maybe Quake 3 or something like that, even on Unreal Tournament, rocket jumping is a thing, although not very useful in UT. You actually use the impact hammer to do jumps in that game. But in Quake, you have the rocket jump. So there's this section up here you can go to. It's actually something that you really want to get later on in this level. But instead of getting to it the normal way, what you can do is rocket jump. Just like this. And this is going to take us to our key and a Shambler. And more fiends. So by doing the rocket jump, you can get here without taking the long way, basically. And then you can use the quad damage to mow through these guys in this room. Bam, we just destroyed everything. That's what I love about Quake. It's just so satisfying when you know what to do. And you just blaze right through the game like it's nothing. So this is going to be a secret up here. If we come over here, some more Skags are going to appear. And I apologize for getting that name wrong. It's either Scrags or Skags. I don't remember. I think it's Scrags, actually. But we're going to say both ways for the rest of this video, because I don't remember. I'm going to have to look it up for the next episode. So yeah, that little shortcut is pretty neat to do. If you're trying to speed run through the levels, the shortcuts are really important. If I wanted to, I could just skip the whole level completely by coming through here and rocket jumping. Let me get some more health. So basically skip it by rocket jumping up here. So that's basically how you get through the level really quickly. You would rocket jump in the beginning, go through the teleporter, get the gold key, rocket jump up here, and then this is the end of the level, basically. You come down here, and that's it. But we're not going to just exit the level like that. We're going to go ahead and play through the whole thing so you guys can see the whole level. So there's a second key we need to get, and it's up here, or through this set of hallways. When you're in this room, these spikes are coming out of these walls, so you have to be careful about that. There's gonna be some fiends down on the bottom too. A lot of times I try to take them out from above if I can. And the big reason for that is you can actually get pushed down here, and if you get pushed down unexpectedly, the fiends could just tear you apart very, very quickly. So this part right here is where you would typically get pushed down. It's basically these three pushing things. If you get caught between them, they don't hurt you, but they will push you off, and you know the fiends are down below. So and there's gonna be a ogre. I thought that door was supposed to open up before I fell down, but apparently not. And this is gonna be the last section for the stage. So remember that 2 shots of the rocket launcher kills the ogres. There is going to be a secret here. If we jump up, notice like the candles, like I said, even the flames are polygons in this game. Even today, flames are usually 2D sprites, or two-dimensional objects, and in you know, today it's much harder to tell that they're 2D because they're so high res and detailed and well animated. But back in the day, the flames were actually like 3-dimensional polygonal objects. Even the pedestal that the flame is on. So again, Quake was just really interesting for the time. Like literally every single thing was 3D. So basically, if we jump up and hit this, it opens up the door behind there, which gives us some goodies. Now that area we went to in the beginning where we rocket jumped to access it normally you have to go behind this teleporter, and we're not going to. We're going to just take the regular one, which just puts us out in this room where the gold key was. But if you want this room to be easier, because again the shambler was right there, right, you take the reverse side of that teleporter, which puts us out up top, and gives us the quad damage as well. So quad damage is super important in this game. And so the blue key is to flip that switch, which takes us up here to the gold door, which again, we don't really need now. Or we didn't really need to get the silver key, sorry, or the blue key. There's going to be a secret right here as well. It's going to have just blue armor. Blue armor is the weakest armor. So you're going to find a lot of times blue armor is going to be there, but you're not going to be able to pick it up because you already have more than enough. Blue armor takes you to 100 armor. Yellow armor takes you to 150 armor. Red armor takes you to 200 armor. Red armor is obviously the best. Unlike Doom, armor makes a huge difference in Quake. It made a difference in Doom, but it makes an even bigger difference in Quake. So on this level, we're actually at the second to last level already on this episode. So we're almost done here, guys. Not too much longer. On this level, you can start off on top. You can just take these ogres out from a safe spot. If you want to get really risky, you can jump down below like I sometimes do, take them out with rockets. More ogres down here. Probably a good time to switch over to our rocket launcher. And of course, if you didn't have a rocket launcher, there is one on this level. And flipping this switch will reveal more ogres up here. So let's flip that switch. One of the important things to success on Quake is just knowing your levels like the back of your hand. And Quake is one of those games where there are very few surprises when you know what you're doing. Now, there are surprises in the game, like on this level in particular. When we go down below, there's going to be some enemies that just teleport in right in front of me. And that'll catch you off guard. You might die. But there are some also other sections that you know are coming up that you can just... you can clean out the room before you even tackle the room. So like right here, there's 3 ogres. There's one right here. He's dead. There's one down here. He's dead. And then there's one more down here. Now, basically, what that does is it keeps them from throwing grenades at me when I jump down here. You'll notice that staircase took a minute for it to go down. And so normally what would happen is you'd come down here and you'd have 3 ogres tossing grenades at you, and it's just a very dangerous situation. So what we're going to do is come down here, and this is where the teleporting ogre is going to be. So, I mean, because I knew that was coming up, it really was no issue. And you don't really want to get crushed by this thing, but one thing you can do is come behind it for a secret, which puts you out up top here. You might be saying to yourself, well, what's the big deal? Well, there's actually 100 health right here, and some ammo, more rockets and so forth, and we can actually come back down, and once this thing comes back, that gate lowers back, we can come through to where we need to go. Now, obviously, don't get caught by that spiked wall. You will die. You'll get crushed. So here's our blue key. And this takes us back to the beginning. Now that we're in the beginning, this is lit up now. Now, you can try to go here initially, but you really just want to go where it's lit up on this level. That's one of the cool things about Quake, is that it would, light at certain levels would use lighting as indicators on where to go. Now, you notice that we rocket jumped earlier, and there's a rocket jump right there. If you want to get really slick, you can rocket jump yourself backwards, grab the key, rocket jump back, and just go straight to the exit. So there's really neat ways to, like, speedrun Quake. So what I recommend you guys do is, if you're interested in seeing, like, speedrun tricks on Quake, is looking up Quake Done Quick. Now, Quake Done Quick is a long-running thing. I think they're probably up to whatever, how many ever revisions of the formula of Quake Done Quick. But Quake Done Quick, back when I was playing back in the late 90s, was basically a speedrun, a very early speedrun of Quake, where they just use these crazy techniques to go through the game in like a ridiculously fast period of time, or amount of time. And so they basically use rocket jumping tricks at certain specific areas of the game. There's a whole bunch of other little tricks you can do as well. So shooting that right there reveals this stairwell, which is going to take us up on top, and with a little bit of a jump, we can get another 100 health power up. Just like that. You have to be very, very accurate with that jump. So opening up this door reveals a fiend. So in Quake, survival, makes a big difference if you know where the enemies are. And I know there's going to be an ogre right here. So I'm going to try to trigger the ogre. There he is. Just like that. Now there's also going to be a shambler that appears there. But what I want to do is, there's actually a secret up here. By flipping this switch right here, or shooting that switch, we can get some quad damage. And so we're going to switch over to our super nail gun, or the perforator, as they call it. Kill the shambler immediately, just like that. Kill these ogres with the quad damage. Flip that switch. Kill another shambler right here. Bam! And we're done with the level. See, that's where knowing where the quad damage is and the level structure as a whole can come in, major use. It can just really come in handy. So we're going to go ahead and save it. We don't really need to save it. So this is one of the only actual boss fights in the game. This is called Cathan, or Than. I really don't know how to pronounce it. What we need to do is come over to the sides, step on both of these switches, which lowers these poles. And once they're both lowered, you zap the guy with the center switch. Now, shooting him does absolutely nothing. So this is a fight where it's more or less brains over brawn. Now, there's also a really neat trick you can do here. What I'm going to do is actually quick save it. I want to sort of like demonstrate it. Here's another speedrun technique. You flip the switch and then, whoops, I messed up. You basically flip the switch and then rocket jump all the way over like that. we actually failed at it, but it's really interesting. Like, you see the speedrunners, they basically just rocket themselves back and forth and zap him. 3 zaps and he's dead. And this takes us to our exit, and then that's pretty much the end of episode 1. And by hitting spacebar, it'll take us to our story segment. So, as the corpse of the monstrous entity Cthon sinks back into the lava whence it rose, you grip the rune of earth magic tightly. Sorry, my monitor is really far away. I can barely read this. Now that you have conquered the dimension of the dunes, realm of earth magic, you're ready to complete your task. A rune of magic power lies at the end of each haunted land of Quake. Go forth, seek the totality of the 4 runes. So you're basically collecting rune stones in each episode, and after you have all 4 rune stones, the slipgate in the beginning, the floor opens up in the hub selection, or in the main hub, sorry. And that'll take you to your actual final boss, which is Shub Niggurath. I'm not very familiar with Lovecraft and stuff like that, but from what I understand, this game takes elements from like Lovecraft themes and stories and so forth. So for those of you guys that are familiar with that, you'll probably feel right at home with like the mythology of Quake. So let's go ahead and get back to the slipgate. And here we are. First episode's done. Once we finish an episode, we can't go back to it. Now, if you use a cheat code to get all weapons and ammo, you could probably rocket jump back up and get in and replay the episode again, but it's not going to really do you a whole lot of good. So yeah, what we're going to do, guys, is just save it right here. And I'm going to save the top one. And let's save all of them. Just because we can, just in case. And that's pretty much going to conclude this episode. So stay tuned for parts 2, 3, and 4. Episode 4, we're going to have to really milk the quick save function. I'm going to really need it because episode 4 it's a very challenging episode. But episodes 2 and 3, I should just be able to bolt through just like I did the first episode. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For those of you guys that are a fan of this style of Let's Play for PC games, keep in mind that I do have Let's Plays of both Doom and Doom 2 for the PC, as well as the first episode of Wolfenstein 3D and the first episode of Heretic, Shadow of the Serpent Riders. So if you're into that sort of thing, feel free to check those out. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my videos appear better in search results and so forth. And it helps me. So if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And stay tuned, guys, for parts 2, 3, and 4. They should be here pretty soon. And until then, I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.